Well, hello everybody. It has been a hot minute, and if you guys saw my last update video, you'll know why. But if you haven't, hit that little link, you can go back. It's a very short video. I just give you a brief update. But today, Rudy and I are out here in Moab. We are going to be out here for the next couple of days, just relaxing, having some fun, and enjoying this weather, guys. It is beautiful out here. I mean, absolutely astonishing how nice it is. It's like spring. Where back home, it's really cold. It's starting to get really, really cold in the morning, so it's really nice to be out here enjoying some sunlight, things like that. Now, on this adventure, we are going to be doing some trails we've done before, some trails that we have not done before, and honestly, guys, just have a good old time. That's the biggest part about this whole thing, is we're just out here to have a fun time. Now, a few things have been done on the Jeep to basically fix it. The Jeep actually was broke. I will kind of go over that this evening at camp, but some work has been done to the Jeep to right itself, give it the ability to just be off-road again. And so this is kind of a tester, and a couple other little things have been done to modify it. At the moment, if you guys will remember from earlier in the year, I still have the auxiliary fuel tank on the Jeep. I have not had the time to take it off, do any of that, and I've had no luck with the company whatsoever. So the four-wheel drive shop that I use, we were doing while they did work to the Jeep, we did a few little upgrades to try and move the drive shaft over just a little and provide a little bit of clearance. So on this trip, we will not get overly flexy, just because I just don't trust it. But we are going to have some fun and enjoy. Another thing, which will be a first for this trip, is we are base camping. Rudy brought his trailer out here because he is in his new white Jeep, which we'll get into that at camp as well, with him. And since that Jeep is not actually built out to have a rooftop tent or anything on it yet, he brought his trailer. So for the first time ever coming to Moab, we are actually base camping. We've got a really nice spot. I brought one of my Gazelle tents that we're calling the living room. So when the weather in the evening, when it gets really cold, and if it's windy, we can go in there and just kind of stay warm. We have a heater that's in there and everything, so we can just enjoy our time at camp before going to bed, everything like that. But it's first. I've never done it. I've never truly base camped on any of my trips, so this is pretty cool to be able to unload some of the stuff that's in the Jeep and not really take it with me. I still have to break down the tent and everything, obviously, but it'll be fun. But right now, we are on Onion Creek Trail. Rudy's never done Onion Creek. I've done it. It's really scenic and pretty. So I figured we'd start here. We're going to take this trail up, kind of do a connector trail that I've never done that'll take us up into the National Forest over by the LaSalle's and kind of track ourselves back around and down back to the main road, and we'll see what time it is, because this is the month of November when I'm filming this. The sun, as you guys know, and as late fall, early winter approaches, does not stay out. The sun yesterday, I think, set by 5:30. So, got a limited amount of daylight, but we are going to make the absolute most of it. We were a little slow out of camp this morning. Rudy got in at like midnight last night, or midnight this morning, into camp from Oklahoma. So, we're not in a giant hurry to get ourselves going. But without further ado, guys, I'm going to stop talking for right now. Let's go enjoy the trail and the beautiful day it is out here.
Though I've done Onion Creek before, I've never ventured past where the Onion Creek Trail ends. The last time I came out here, I just kind of pushed a little bit further to find camp for the evening, and that kind of ended my entire Moab trip back then. But this time we pushed further, and into the National Forest we went, and it was unbelievably beautiful up there. I was not expecting us to get deep into the trees like we did. We kept climbing, and the trail just kept giving. It was absolutely amazing, and I can't specify enough to you guys. If you have not just pushed a little bit further onto some of the other trails out in Moab, off of some of the main big name trails, you're missing out. And that is what we discovered on this one. Was we pushed a little further, it was beautiful.
All right, good morning from camp. I'll show you guys more camp here in a second. It's really, really bright, so I've been fighting with how the sun's sitting. But yesterday was fantastic. We got back to camp around 5, started making dinner. The sun disappeared by 5:30. So we were kind of hanging out in the living room, if you will, with a light on and just talking and hanging out and enjoying the evening because it got decently cold last night. It got into the mid-30s last night. But it's another fantastic day, and we have some new trails that we're going to go and tackle today. I've never done these trails, one of which, there is one trail that we did do. We kind of did it at the beginning of the year when Rudy and I escaped from St. George area out here, and then it snowed and was really bad weather. Yeah, we're going to go re-tackle that without all the snow issue today. And then we're going to tackle a bunch of new trails, and then depending on what time it is, we'll probably try and throw in one more trail for the day. We don't quite know. But base camping has been great. It's just, it was really nice to just not really worry about where we were camping at. We just knew we were coming right back to this spot. Nothing changed. It was fantastic. But as I told you guys yesterday while we were on the trail, a few things have changed in the convoy, in the sense of things have changed and been fixed on the Jeep. Rudy has a new rig with him. So we're going to kind of go through those things real quick this morning because I promised you guys that we do it here at camp. So let's get into this. Okay, first let's start with the big old Jeep here. I was telling you guys that it had to get fixed. This is what had to get fixed. It's going to be hard to see, which I'll make it look better here in a second. But the passenger side, rear, upper spring hanger cracked. It's been a big thing on, in a sense, social media of late, where people are discovering that their Jeep springs are, basically the spring perches are cracking. That was no different here. I was wondering why this thing was sagging so bad, and I couldn't figure it out. Saw something on Instagram. I said, went over, checked it out. Sure enough, both sides was cracked, and then somehow I went the whole year with it like that, and so I had to get it fixed. The other thing we did is we put a new rear track bar, torsion bar on the back of the Jeep that is adjustable to help kind of pull that drive shaft over a little bit so that it would stop trying to hit the gas tank too much. So far, it doesn't look like it's been hitting, but we're still going to see at the end of this trip. But those were the big changes for the Jeep in the sense of getting it fixed. I stopped kind of driving the Jeep once we discovered that the spring perch was cracked, and the fact that I'd been using it all year made me really nervous that, you know, I was testing time. So we stopped using it. It's been fixed now. This is her kind of maiden voyage since being fixed. That's about it that's happened with the Jeep. Now, as you guys can tell, Rudy has something different. And yes, it's still a Jeep, but the big green machine that was the diesel is long gone. We had, after our last kind of adventure that we did back in August, his computer on the Jeep died. It basically crapped out on him and gave him a crap ton of issues. He had issues with the dealership. They couldn't fix it. They went and fixed it. They were claiming they couldn't make codes reappear, but he couldn't get it home. It was a whole debacle. So he's gotten rid of it. This, you guys will have seen it at the beginning of the year, is his new Jeep that he got in December that was supposed to be
for his significant other and now is his. So she's kind of stock still at this point. Not a whole lot has changed. We threw on the old Jeep's tires, wheels and tires onto it, and that's kind of about it, guys. It's a Rubicon. It's got the Pentastar V6 in it, so you know it's a petrol guzzling monster. But he does now have a winch. He's put his lights on it. But we are going to be building this thing out. I'm going to help him build this thing out in the spring. So it's going to have a drawer system, fridge slot. It basically, all his totes, or for the most part, are going to vanish. And we're going to get the roof rack. We're going to build this thing out like sort of in the sense of how mine is built out, so that he can just be more sustainable out of this versus how it used to be in his green Jeep. So we'll have a little bit more on the process of how that goes in the spring, because he's in the process of accumulating all the things that he needs so that we can turn this thing into what he wants it to be, kind of in 1 week, one shot, make it nice. Now, camp. As you can see, we are base camping. Rudy has got his trailer, like I told you, and we have the living room, our little shelter out of the cold, out of the heat, out of the weather, depending on what it is. It's just a way of us having the ability to hang out still if the weather gets bad, or like last night it got cold. The little fire pit really wasn't producing a lot of heat. We went in there, turned on the buddy heater on the propane. It was warm. We enjoyed our time before going to bed. That's the whole point. I'm fighting with the sun to not make me either dark or too bright. And it's a way of using the tents. I have the tents, might as well use them. They're not that hard to bring, especially for base camping. The big orange one is really simple to bring. Engine just set up and leave. But that's it, guys. That's the update on what's going on. Like I said, we'll have more on to come with Rudy's Jeep as the build continues. We got some things, and then I'll keep you guys updated if things change with the Jeep. Like I said, this is a tester for that fix to move the drive shaft over to stop touching the tank. If it touches on this trip, I'm getting rid of it, so it doesn't matter. And when Rudy and I have done some research and have found a alternative solution to having more fuel with us that is kind of like a giant jerry can that goes on the spare tire, versus trying to change the bumper and have the jerry can mounts and things, because that's really expensive. This is kind of more of a all-around budget friendly. It's still sort of expensive, but not to that degree that a bunch of modifications have to happen. But we're gonna finish picking up camp a little bit. By picking up, I mean I gotta finish packing that up so I can drive it, and we gotta put stuff away because we're still gonna be base camping right here for another night, and then we're gonna hit the trail. So I will see you guys as soon as all that is done.
Okay, guys, we have been on the move for a hot second. When I left you guys at camp, we drove over to the start of the trail, and we were gonna do, like I was telling you guys, the 7-Up trail. Basically, it was a trail that me and Rudy did earlier this year, but it was snowy and rainy, and it was kind of a struggle for me, just because the Jeep's tires, I need new tires. They're just really worn out, so I wasn't getting really any traction. And it was just kind of tough in the sense that it was slippery, so we were going to do it. We started doing it, and Rudy, in his new Jeep, the new Jeep doesn't actually have a lift, it's just a stock Jeep, and he could easily, in a sense, the Jeep could do the trail, but he was kind of just bottoming out. He just wasn't feeling confident in doing it. He just didn't want to just completely trash the underside of the Jeep. He just didn't want to bottom out a whole lot, which is fine. You know, you got to be comfortable on the trail that we're doing, otherwise it's not worth doing it. They're just going to get frustrated and upset. So we weren't very far into it, and I was gonna bring you guys in, but because of that, we turned around, kind of crawled up the little sections and bit to get out, and now we are going to head over to our other trails that we would like to do. So now we're gonna cruise back up the Gemini Bridge Trail to the main road, jump on the road, jump off, and we're gonna take some, I'm gonna call them scenic dirt roads, to get over to the area that we are looking to do. Okay, guys, this is 7-Mile Rim Trail. And we did not start, obviously, where the 191 is. That is where we are going to kind of end, is where it pops out closer to that. God, this is beautiful. I had no idea this was tucked up back here. It is just... The whole scenic drive to get here was an entire set of trails, for the most part, that I've never driven before. Had no idea they were tucked up back here. This is pretty cool. This is nice to do different things here in Moab that on trails that I've never done. And yeah, they're fairly easy going trails, but just never been back here. This is pretty awesome. I have to admit, this is pretty cool.
As we pushed on further and further on the 7-Mile Rim Trail, it just got more and more beautiful and a little more challenging. Now, the challenging part was not extreme, it wasn't impossible. It just made us think a little bit more than we originally were doing before. We were just cruising. Now we had to crawl over rocks. And with Rudy and his new Jeep, this was one of his first ever voyages in it, so he is still learning how it operates and how it acts, because it's completely different from his old Eco Diesel. And for me, I'm taking it very easy. I am cautious about that drive shaft and that auxiliary fuel tank, and I just don't want it to hit, but it was fun. And as we kept climbing, we were in for a treat.
Camera will never do this justice. That's pretty steep. That's pretty cool.
Look at that right there.
I know, that arch right there.
Yep.
So guys, there's an arch right there. It's pretty cool. Oh, this is a fun little trail. We got into more flexy bits. We're climbing. Right now we are on top of a bunch of rocks, and you can see the 191 there, the road that takes you up to the top of where Canyonland is and things like that. Oh, it's just beautiful out here. Such an amazing trail. And it's not overly challenging or technical. It's just, it throws a little bit in there to make you think some, but oh, it's great. However, we didn't realize we climbed up so high. It didn't feel like we were climbing up very high at all, and then next thing we knew, we stopped to take a look at the view and like, holy crap. It's a fun trail, I have to admit. This has been a lot of fun, and the Jeep has been performing very, very well. So I cannot complain. We have had to cut around a couple obstacles here and there, just because we basically had to take the easier line, if you will, because there were just a few areas that I think you need a little more tire or a little more clearance to not get stuck too much. And with lower tread on the tires and a few other things, I think it would have been a little more difficult. I gotta find the trail.
As the trail pushed on, it got a little more technical with each rotation of the tire. Because we had gotten to the very top aspect of 7 Mile Rim Trail, it was time to go down. And going down the direction we were going towards the 191, it was quite rocky. Not impossible whatsoever, just made us take our time, go very slowly. But in the back of our minds, we were thinking about how long it had taken us throughout the day on this trail. It had been so much fun, but it was a bit time consuming, and also the sun was starting to set and at a rapid pace, and the last thing we wanted to do was be stuck on the trail in the evening time doing a night run, because as much fun as that sounds, it is not something that we are both completely comfortable with just yet.
Well, this trail is still ongoing. We have been just taking our time crawling over a lot of the little rock areas and whatnot. It hasn't been impossible. It's just, honestly, guys, we're just going slow. I'm just trying not to jerk the Jeep around a whole lot, just because I don't want it to shift over, like the drive shaft to shift a lot. It hasn't been hitting the tank so far, too. I don't think it's really been hitting at all. Ooh, that sun's bright, which is good. However, there has just been some areas that we're just bebopping along, going real slow. But because of that, time is going bye-bye. It's ticking away very quickly. And we have got probably a quarter of the trail still to go. So I'm not overly concerned, but we only have about an hour and 20 minutes of sunlight left. So, depending on how long this takes us, which I'm hoping that it doesn't take too long and we get off of this trail before, but we shall see. But the sun is starting to get to that setting point where it is starting to go down now, which makes for some beautiful, beautiful views. But it also makes us just a hair nervous, because some of these little rocky areas would be a pain in the dark. So we shall see. But it's been a lot of fun. I just was not expecting any of these views, the sights, the way the trail was. It has just been a tremendous sort of adventure. I've absolutely been enjoying the hell out of it.
Well, everybody, we have come to the end. We finally made it off of 7 Mile Trail, and the mountains right behind you guys, which I'll show you in a second, is where we were. But coming to the end of the trail means we have hit the end of our adventure. I was actually going to do our closing out back at camp, but we have, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes of daylight left, and it's going to take us longer than 15 minutes to get back to camp. But right now, as you can see, we have aired up. See, Rudy's over there unhooking his airing system from the Jeep, but we have aired up. We have completed the trail. It took us all day, but God, was 7 Mile Rim Trail so much fun. If you guys haven't done it, you should check it out. There was no one out there the whole time. It was beautiful. Oh, it was awesome. I absolutely loved that trail. But thank you guys so much for joining me on this very short but fun adventure here in Moab. It was a nice little break from my monotonous school routine at the moment. But, you know, I take it where I can, and it's been an absolute blast. So thank you all so much for joining me on this adventure. If you haven't already, you guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. It helps me out immensely, guys, and you guys are what makes this channel happen. Now, don't worry. More videos will come. They are still going to be kind of sparse, few and in between, but there will be more videos to come. I promise, guys. I am going to try and get more that come out, but it may take a little bit before that happens. We have to get past the holidays to a point. I got finals, things like that. But they will come. Trust me. In the spring, things are going to pick back up again. So, once again, guys, thank you so much for your understanding and hanging out with me, bearing with me as we get through my schooling session this year. Till next time, guys, take care.